Well, good morning, Professor Toates. I'm glad
Good
you
morning.
have some time to answer some 5 questions. You did it before about your book, How Sexual Desire Works.
Yes.
There's also a chapter students will learn in this course, but maybe I can post the video as not mandatory. But I want to speak about your new article. It's about,
Yes.
we'll know it, sex addiction. But my first question is, can you introduce yourself?
I can indeed. My name is Frederick Toates, though I'm called Fred by everybody. I'm a retired professor of psychology at the Open University in England, and I've had long, pleasant collaboration with the University of Amsterdam and with Mark. So that's who I am.
Thanks. And can you tell something about what's bringing you to write the article?
Well, I was becoming more and more upset, I suppose I could say, by the criticisms of the notion of sex addiction, because it seemed to me that these were largely based on moral, political, ideological considerations. And I thought that a lot of the battle was not being waged in a fair and balanced way. I found that the critics of the notion of sex addiction were usually throwing in arguments that this is religious right in the United States, it's a conservative conspiracy. I think the whole argument was that sex is good, addiction is bad, therefore the notion of sex addiction can't be true because it's saying something that is good is actually bad. Now, I was looking at it, I thought along the lines that I would be surprised if sex couldn't become addictive, because gambling can become addictive. Sex is the most powerful of motivations. And whereas other things like shopping, exercise, gambling can become addictive, cannabis can become addictive. I thought it'd be surprising if sex couldn't become addictive. So the more I looked at the literature, the more I felt that the arguments were in favor of the notion of sex addiction. A whole series of things. I was reading reports of people that were driven almost to suicide because of the problems they'd got into with watching pornography. They couldn't stop watching it, even though on one level they wanted to watch it. And those sort of considerations, when I looked at the evidence and I looked at models of addiction based largely on drugs, I've found that the similarities were really quite striking. And then I probed, looked for the evidence, I looked at the articles, and so much of it to me did point to the idea that sex can become addictive. I hope that answers your question, Mark.
Yeah, that's very clear. I think, yeah, thanks. Hey, and yeah, of course, it's very new, it's just there. Did you already receive some reactions, or can you already reflect on it a little bit, or is it too soon to do this?
I've received positive reactions to it. I think that the negative reactions are the fact that I didn't hear from people that I'd previously been in touch with. And I think that, although they don't actually say so, I think that some people don't like the article because I'm critical of some of the existing literature. I think the existing literature paints a very misleading portrait of what the phenomenon is all about.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I recognize it also when I read the paper. Yeah, that you are critical about some interpretations of data that are there. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I like the paper. It's also a nice. Yeah, it's also very connected to your other work about.
I hope so. I hope so. Yes.
Then another question that's not related to your paper, but in general, can you think clinical psychology or psychology in general can contribute to current societal issues?
Well, I think it can. And I think this is one good example of it where it can, because I believe there's a lot of human misery, suffering as a result of this kind of uncontrolled sexuality. And I would say that the existence of violent pornography is dangerous. I don't think it's innocent at all. And I think there is so much available violent pornography. Now, for most people, I guess it makes no difference. They're not going to go out and commit a violent assault. But I think there's a small minority of people for whom violent pornography is something they're attracted to. They want to watch it, they do watch it. And I believe the effect of it is to increase the possibility that they will put into action what they've seen in the pornographic video. Now, it's difficult to do controlled studies on this in any kind of natural environment for obvious reasons, but under controlled laboratory conditions, it does seem as if watching violence tends to increase violence. This is something that Albert Bandura studied years and years back with attacking a Bobo doll. There it's pretty clear that there is an effect of watching violence on violence, a positive effect. And for that reason, I think the more we study these phenomena, come to terms with them, then we can solve some of society's problems. I believe so. I believe, there is a healthy sexuality to be obtained. Possibly some pornography could help that. I can't say that all is bad. I think a lot of it is bad. I think a lot of it portrays a completely false image. The kind of pornography often shows the female to be entirely willing and accepting of absolutely anything, and the male can just do as he wishes, and the female will always be receptive and acceptance of it. That just isn't the way life is in reality. And I think the number of young people are looking at porno on their mobile phones, and they're getting this impression that women, girls are just ready for anything. And if it turns out they're not, then they get angry. So I think better sex education could help in this regard.
Thanks. Yeah, clear. And then my last question, yeah, maybe do you have a final message for my psychology students who are taking the course at this moment?
Oh, yes, my final message would be good luck. And if you have queries on any of my work, then Mark has my email address. I think my email address is in the article. Feel free to contact me and I'll see if I can answer them. And I hope that before too long, I can come back to the Netherlands and meet you folk again. I miss the Netherlands. I have withdrawal symptoms from the Netherlands. But, circumstances are tricky at the moment to get back, but I will hope to soon. That would be my message for your students, I think. Good luck with it. Good luck with your studies.